Welcome back, and it's great to have with us on the line from Canberra, Martin Iles from the Australian Christian Lobby. How are you, Martin?
G'day, Kent. I'm really well, thank you. Good to be with you today.
Now, Martin, this move of the Supreme Court in the United States towards same-sex marriage has electrified the debate again here in Australia, just like we saw after the Irish referendum. Is the tide of history moving against Tony Abbott and his traditional marriage colleagues on this issue?
Well, it's an interesting way to put it, Kent. History's a very, very long time, and I'm not sure if 10, 15, 20 years on the end defines history. It was Justice Kennedy himself who, during the hearings process of the case, said that it was unclear to him why, after millennia of successful man-woman marriage, the binding together of a mother and a father for the sake of rearing their children, we claim to know better in the modern age in the very short space of time. And he expressed some scepticism about that. And also one of the other dissenting justices said in his judgment that it's really unclear what the long-term consequences of this are going to be, because it's actually never really been done before for a sufficiently long period of time. So if you look at it that way and you see that this is, 10, 15, 20 years on the end of many millennia of history, and not only that, but it's a small number of countries, just the Western countries, out of approximately 200 across the world, I'm not sure whether history is on the same-sex marriage side or the pro-traditional marriage side. I suspect actually it's on the side of traditional marriage.
Okay. I guess nevertheless, though, it seems that emotions are running pretty high in Australia in some quarters. Something that worries me a bit is what we heard in the news bulletin earlier. Apparently Catholic leaders in Sydney are putting pressure on private businesses and encouraging them to stay out of the political arena on this issue. Are those the kind of tactics that you would endorse, whether it's this issue or any controversial issue?
Well, the way I understood what the Catholics had done was that they went into the public square and they made 2 points. The first one was whether corporations are best placed to comment on issues like marriage and family. And the second one they did was actually take the reasons in favour of marriage to the corporates and give them an opportunity to respond. And I think that you need to make your case for being in the public square. It's one thing to use corporate money to put a glossy logo on an advertisement in The Australian. It's another thing to actually respond, point for point in a reasonable, rational way to the arguments in favour of preserving marriage. And I think if the Catholics have achieved that, then that's a really constructive thing to do. And I would encourage them to continue to do that.
Okay. Well, thanks for your time today, Martin.
Thank you, Ken.